Welcome. In honor of our nation, please remain standing for the national anthem.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, of the free, and the home of the free, home of the
Please be seated. Good evening, members of the class of 2021, parents, family members, friends, and guests. I'm Betty Tisch, president of the class of 2021. It's incredible that we're all gathered here today and get to see each other's faces instead of a bunch of black squares. It's my pleasure to introduce the honored guests, Myers Park's administrative team, and this year's valedictorians and salutatorians. Please stand as you are recognized. Mark Bosco, Principal. Lenora Shipp, Board of Education, Member at Large. Margaret Marshall, Board of Education Member, District 5, and Myers Park Parent. Ernest Winston, Superintendent. Tara Sullivan, Central 2 Learning Community Superintendent. Our school representatives are Allison Davis, Assistant Principal of Instruction. Justin Holt, Assistant Principal. Tyson Jeffis, Assistant Principal. Michelle Richards, Assistant Principal. Summer Blount, Dean of Students. Brian Freeland, Dean of Students. And Tyler Mavity, Dean of Students. Thank you all for being a part of our graduation ceremony. And it is now my pleasure to announce this year's valedictorian and salutatorian. Our valedictorian is Clayton Odell, and our salutatorian is Jane Jeffries. Congratulations. A couple weeks ago, someone asked me if the class of 2021 had a theme song. Considering the masks we're all wearing, my first thought was Sicko Mode by Travis Scott. But bad puns aside, I've been thinking about the songs that have defined our time in high school. I remember the 538 times we rolled our eyes to the morning announcements music. And I think back to singing the national anthem from Freshman Hill, and then the excitement of singing it from the front row in the stands. And I'll never forget the feeling of dancing with friends at Sadie's, and everyone somehow remembering every word of Snoop Dogg's part in Baby by Justin Bieber. The soundtrack of our senior class has been triumphant at times, somber at others, and always remarkable. We've persevered through awkward breakout rooms and unending calendar changes to create joy in a senior year where we thought there would be none. I know we'll keep this same resilience and optimism with us wherever our future plans might take us. Today, we all walk across the same stage, though we each have a unique background and story. Athletes and mathletes, gamers and debaters, musicians and chefs. It's amazing how we are all so different, but together, we've created a symphony of our time here at Myers Park. Each of you has a powerful story to share with the world, and your distinct voice is too important to keep silent. So take pride in your time as a Mustang and carry the friendships, lessons, and memories of these past 4 years with you as you reach greater heights. Class of 2021, our song has just begun. Next, I'd like to welcome our valedictorian, Clayton Odell.
Good morning, seniors. Congratulations. I can't believe we have made it to graduation and are getting ready to call ourselves Myers Park alum. That's insane. Every time I think about our past 4 years, I pictured the quad. The Myers Park quad was a constant for us through change. At first, we came in and we literally didn't know where to go. We were lost and confused, and some days, when the rain created a deadly swamp of a quad, we were almost certain that we would fall. Not only was I lost in the quad as a freshman, but I think, as many of us were, I was struck with a feeling of insignificance. It seemed almost impossible to envision my significance as one kid out of an incomprehensible 3,600 in the school. But over these 4 years, I realized the unique significance that we each have, and I became empowered to find my role in this community. Eventually, we all found our paths and our roles here. And we mastered the quad. And we learned that the power of this huge school is how we cross paths with each other and draw strength from our diversity. No matter how well developed our paths and our goals were, none of us were on them alone. We challenged and supported each other. We picked each other up when things got too muddy and messy. We encouraged each other. Because as Dr. Martin Luther King said, I can never be what I ought to be until you are what you ought to be. Similar to our paths in the quad continuously intersected, our lives have been and are that intertwined. We are each a unique part of this incredibly connected community. As I look around, I see artists, volunteers, family care providers, scientists, athletes, and even students who have made their mark by forking the quad. One way or another, we have each found our place, our significance. And soon, we are each going to find some new place where initially it may not be comfortable, and we may not know our way around, and we may worry that at some point we'll slip and fall and look foolish. But just as we did in the messy MP quad, we will find our footing. We will find where we each make an impact. And if we keep supporting each other along the way, we will get there even faster. So class of 2021, congratulations. I'm so excited to see where our future endeavors take us and what paths we choose. And so one last time for a moment of spirit together. Ready? MP. 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 Thank you. Next, I'd like to welcome our salutatorian, Jane Jeffries.
Well, Mustangs, I think it is safe to say that this has not been the year we were all expecting. This is actually one of the first school events this year where I'm not wearing my pajamas, as far as you know. There were countless mornings during freshman and sophomore year when my 6 a.m. alarm made me wish I could stay home. I've learned to be careful what I wish for. Because we haven't been on campus for most of this year, we already know some of the things we will miss most about Myers Park after we graduate. For me, it'll be walking in the quad with my friends, seeing the sunrise from the parking lot that I would never willingly get up early enough to watch, getting fist bumps from Colson on my way to class, watching students awkwardly sprint through the quad with 15-pound backpacks on after the sound of the magical bell, and chanting MP you know at sporting events. While I am sad that we missed out on these things for most of this year, I am so proud of us for making the most of it. In the first 3 years of high school, I learned countless lessons in the classrooms of Myers Park about math, history, English, and science. This year, I learned about life, all from the comfort of my bed. We all worked on our adaptability and patience, which we will carry with us far into the future. We were resilient. We did not allow our circumstances to determine the outcome of our year, and we made it our own. I would like to thank our teachers for talking to black screens all year and for being understanding and encouraging during a time that was very difficult. I would also like to thank our friends and family members in the audience for supporting us for all of these years. Finally, I would like to thank the class of 2021 for creating a community in which we could cry, laugh, complain, and share. I know that we could not have accomplished this without each other. Mustangs, we did it, and I know that we will all be ready for whatever the future holds. Next, I'd like to welcome our principal, Mr. Mark Bosco.
First, before I make some remarks, I'd like to observe a moment of silence. There are 3 members of this class who are not here with us today, and they passed away much, much too early. Reggie DeVoe, Ben Hager, and Josias Lowry. Thank you for that moment. You know, as I look around the room, it's a little different than what we've done in the past, but I'd like to say a big thank you to the Myers Park staff and faculty for being able to support not only administration and the community, but you all, these students. And so if you would please join me in giving them a round of applause, even though they're not all here, but they deserve it. Well, good morning, members of the Board of Education. I usually would say county commissioners, but they're not here today. Senior executive staff, honored parents, staff, and students, thank you for being here today to recognize and celebrate the achievements of the graduating seniors of Myers Park High School class of 2021. I am so proud of the work of this class, and I'm just equally proud of the work of our staff. We spent 4 years together. We're always going to have that special bond. And let's remember, 1/3 of your experience at Myers Park was spent either in remote learning or hybrid learning. In previous years, this would be the part of my speech where I would talk about all the things that we shared. Crowded halls, sports, clubs, community service, homecoming, championships, talent shows, senior carnival, concerts, award ceremonies, the morning show, sharing laughs, and prom. But things were different for this class. While we did share in many of those experiences I mentioned, this class missed on many of the junior and senior, what I would call rites of passage. And many of those we've been celebrating for decades. And for that you missed those rites of passage and those experiences, I am personally very sorry. In the last 15 months, we have endured something unprecedented in our recent history, the disruption and quarantining of our society due to a global pandemic. And as a history teacher, I understand that sounds pretty dramatic. We have experienced one of the most significant events within our lifetimes, and maybe one of the most significant events in recent world history. Time will tell, for sure. We have also felt waves of protest and civil unrest in response to social injustice, and observed division with many leaders, elected officials, and influencers offering different definitions of success and progress. Now, as we try to transition back to a sense of normalcy, there is so much remains uncertain and simply unknown, and whether you are aware of it or not, change occurred, and it had both positive and negative elements within it. Now, as you prepare for what's next for you and start navigating this time, I would like to share 2 ideas associated with the word why that may help you. The first idea centers around understanding and finding what motivates you or makes you come alive. What are your strengths and passions? What is your center and your value? This is your motivation in life. This is your why. It's not what you do, it's why you do it. Getting good grades in school, making friends, engaging in hobbies and interests, going to college and choosing a career, that is what you do. But coming to terms with why you make these decisions or choices is more important. Author and motivational leader Simon Sinek offers that companies, teams, and individuals who understand their why are hands down more successful, effective, and ultimately happier, living fulfilled lives. As I'm sure many of our students have already been asked by extended family and friends, so what are you going to do next year? What are you going to study in college? What are your plans? What do you want to do for a living? Maybe the more important question is, why do you want to do those things? Now, it's okay if you're not sure what your why is yet, but don't forget to work on it. Remember, life will come at you fast. Just ask your parents. And too many people focus on the what of life rather than the why of life. Happiness comes from why, so find your why and keep it at the center of all that you do. Now, the second idea revolving around why that I would like to share has something to do with embracing a questioning spirit. Simply ask yourself why as much as possible. I encourage this spirit in an attempt to seek clarity and understanding as opposed to creating discord and divisiveness. This also means to ask you why you think the way you do. Why do you believe this or why do you believe that? Whether it has to do with news, media, politics, science, economics, social justice, family, friends, etc. Ask yourself why. Analyze all the facts, unpack bias, beliefs, and prejudgments. You may even ask yourself, why is this advice even important? And that's a totally fair question. The reason is this: as you move through adulthood, this questioning spirit, asking yourself why, is the only way to ensure that the beliefs and values are truly yours and not someone else's. Now, I know many of you can't wait to graduate and move on from high school, but let's take a minute, look around the room, take it all in, because I'm going to assure you that you will spend the rest of your life wishing you were back in high school. You, the class of 2021, are certainly ready and prepared for the challenges of the 21st century. You have the knowledge and you have the skills, so I encourage you, get out there and make your mark. Thank you. And this is the fun part. Now for the presentation of the diplomas. When your name is called, please come forward and receive your diploma.
Adrian Kellen Adcock. George Bennett Brown. Abby Stover Cardwell. Jennifer Garcia Gregorio. Stephen Perot. Larson Layler Asar. Norhan Yahia Abdulrahman. Mahdi Muhyiddin Abdul. Malachi Cannon. Milad Villanovich Abramov. Daniela Maria Assetti. Elizabeth Ann Edelman. Ellen Aubrey Edelman. Kimya Adibi. Noah Mohammed Ahmed. Sophie Elise A. Heron. Manuel Alejandro Alcalde Garcia. Carson Rochelle Alexander. Natalie Alexander. Claire Margaret Allison. Michael Mark Allison. Kayleen Almeida. Emerson Louise Almond.
Elias Gustav Altman. Alanis Alves Shaneman. Saya Donella Amaria. Camden Elizabeth Andres. Anthony Nicholas Anderson. Emily Grace Anderson. Carter Joseph Andriazzi. Carolina Sofia Araujo. Claudia Ann Arundel. Angus Edward Ash. Ethan Jason Ashworth. Haley Ann Atkins. Isabel Grace Atkins. Priscilla Charlotte Atkinson.
Caroline Lucas Ocamp. Joseph James Audino. Karamia Isabel Axland. Keegan Walter Bader. Carson Christopher Barr. Brendan Fleet Bailey. Catherine Bennett Beloga. Luke Andrew Barbarica. Daniel David Barchi. Gillian Jean Iris Barker. Tyler James Barker. Elizabeth Wynne Barty. Robert Joseph Beatty.
Munish Kumar Behera. Emma Caroline Belk. Angela Theresa Bensavenia. Angel Khalida Monique Bennett. William Michael Bennett. Robert Hamilton Benton. Carter Luis Berg. Marcy Renee Barnard. Matthew Stewart Barnard. Dimitrios Vasilios Bikas. Caleb Lamont Black. Haley Lynn Black. Catherine Hannock Blake. Harrison Bradshaw Blau. Harrison Cooper Bobbitt. Neris Vanessa Bonilla Flores.
Andrew David Bookman. Chloe Odelia Bornius. Carter Elaine Borelli. Marin Elizabeth Bulware. Michonne Brady. Maxwell James Breitz. Avery Allen Britt. Sydney Alexis Broadbooks. Marjorie Sumner Broadfoot. Savannah Elizabeth Brock. Allison Grace Broderick. Caroline Taylor Brooks. Ayana Lachey Brown. Miles Cooper Brown. Chase McKeague Brown.
Sydney Cooper Brownlee. Logan Pierce Buchanan. William Connor Buchanan. Catherine Brooke Bunden. Shanice Michelle Birch. Cahill Thomas Burke. McCartney David Allen Butler. Morgan Ray Byers. Lucy Burrows Caldwell. Madeline Grace Cameron. Mariah Elizabeth Campbell. Dylan Matthew Knight, Emma Claire Cantrell, Charles Harrison Capitano, Anna Elizabeth Carpenter, Anna Elizabeth Carroll, Zion Kyron Carson,
Camilla Carvajal, Allie Kate Castleman, Callista Rose Catchpole, Jackson Ross Catron, William Coleman Chambers, Desmond Marquez Daly Cheney, Jessica Chaparro Morales, Aiden Christopher Charles, Cecilia Isabel Chavez, Elaine Young Chen, Layla Brooke Chiddick, Jaden Sky Childress, Caleb Jackson Chittister, Joshua John Cristofero,
Naya Cheyenne Clamp, Ava Lauren Clark, Woodrow Clark, Penelope Steele Clymer, Mary Catherine Klein, Zachary Andrew Klein, Jeannie Louise Koffelt, Nathaniel Dwayne Coffey, Jonathan Tucker Coleman, Samuel Walters Coleman, Robert Marshall Coley, Hollis Greer Coleman, William Isaac Colson, Reese Jacqueline Colwell, Edward Charles Combs,
Scott Newman Comer, Caroline Dahl Connor, Jacob Andrew Contreras, Cora Lynn Cook, Nicholas Zachary Cook, Emma Barlow Cooper, Benjamin Patrick Copeland, Hannah Cosette Cornwall, Miranda Ellen Cottrell, Caroline Ellen Cox, Emmy Reeves Crawford, Imani Jamera Crawford, Olivia Rose Crescitelli, Matthew Blake Crowder, Connell Patrick Crow,
Luke Armstrong Culbertson, Colton Curtis, Cameron Michael Cuthbertson, Samuel Conrad Cutler, Jackson Myers Cutter, Catherine Lane Daly, Alessandro Cunico Dalpra, Lauren Silva Damiani, Connor Cooey Daniel, Ian Merritt Daniel, Allison Elizabeth Daniels, Brianna Renee Daniels, Dylan Dow, Kate Taylor Davis, Lauren Lucille Davis,
Mary Grace Davis, Quinlan Ann Davis, Miller Thomas Dietz, Sullivan Lee Dill, Kieran Foster Dillard, Rebecca Shrum Dodd, Samantha Catherine Donovan, Logan Elizabeth Dooley, Peyton Amelia Dooley, Tirth Doshi, Riley Christian Doherty, Jaquan Marquell Dowdell, Emily Grace Doyle, George Gregory Drennan, Evan James Dudley, Elise Carol Dooley,
Ariana Simone Dunlap, Catherine Stokes Dupirier, Catherine Page Dupuy, Haley Patricia Earnhardt, Sun Iban, Lauren Catherine Eckmeyer, Chloe Elizabeth Edwards, Janelle Lene Edwards, Charles Ali Elassar, Adrian Bryson Ellie, Richard William Richardson Ellis, Leafol Enleban, Stella Wynn Irvin, Misraim Estrada Alaman, Ethan Andrew Evans, Zaire Jamariu Falls,
Owen Henry Farr, Campbell Lynn Ferris, Oliver McKenna Ferris, Hollis Catherine Faulkner, Honor Salome Faulkner, Maxwell Joseph Ferry, Avery Elise Philibin, Amaya Janice Fisher, Eleanor Marie Fisher, Lauren Elizabeth Fleeman, Taylor James Fleeman, William Massey Flippin, Natalia Flores Munoz,
David Allen Ford, Deshaun Ariane Fogel, Ashley Michelle Ford, Tiana Nicole Ford, McLaren Lee Foster, Benjamin Parker Fowler, Andre Terrell Freeman, Cameron Isabella Freres, Tavon Micaiah Frost, Micaiah Demonique Gayton, Claire Alicia Gale, Addison Elizabeth Galick, Christine Lene Gallus, Emily Nicole Ganem, Maya Julicia Garcia, Victoria Daniela Garcia Higuera,
Ashanti Leasia Gatewood, Deshaun Terrell Gatewood, Sophia Ava Galloso, Nantas Costas Georgiulius, James Michael Gillespie, Camille Lynn Gleason, Adalis Jamila Glenn, Nathaniel Henry Glenn, Kanya Amira Godbolt, Anna Elizabeth Godsman, Martin Allen Godwin, Carolyn Keene Goins, Martha Elizabeth Goldsmith,
Nellie Nicole Gomez Mojica, Beasley Stewart Gordon, Bryson Baxter Gordon, Jacqueline Granger, Robert Wellborn Grant, Catherine Aspinall Grealish, Emma Catherine Griffin, Anna Marie Grupp, Matthew William Guarda, Jacob Guzzi, Ama Makiba Akila Ayo Mamuila Gwen,
Nicole Garcias Jimenez, Zachary Michael Gardner, Lydia Rachel Garrett, Catherine Elizabeth Haney, Madeline Hagan, Bryson Renee Hahn, Riley Madison Haynes, Drake McDermott Hare, Damali Ayana Hall, Julia James Hallinan, Fenley O'Brien Hamilton, Taylor Anna Mae Haney, David Ryan Hanley, Parker Middleton Hanley, Anna Lau Hansen, Ashlyn Elizabeth Hansen, Genevieve Grace Hansen, Jordan Deshawn Hansen,
Catherine Susan Harden, Emma Elizabeth Hardy, Claire Frances Hargrove, Mason Nicole Harkleroad, Grace Layton Harrell, Robert Michael Hart, Giselle Marie Harthen, Jonathan Martel Haruta, Amaya Samon Haskins, Jacob Samuel Hassner, Aaron Scott Hasty, Oliver Scott Hawes, Olivia Denise Hayes, Carter James Hensley, Lucille Elizabeth Hepp,
Juliana Ali Hernandez, Juan Felipe Herran Quintero, Addison Claire Higgins, Elizabeth Katie Hill, Sequavius Clara Hill, Timothy John LaShawn Hill, William Carl Hinson, Minor Thurlow Hinson III, Chandler Carl Hirsch, Catherine Eileen Hodges, Emma Rose Hafley, Ethan Thomas Hoffman, Sue Woodson Holderness, Reagan Olivia Hollis, Sarah Kilpatrick Holshauser,
Jesse Hoover, Nora Frances Hoover, Asa Jashawn Hobson, Liza Fleming Horn, Veronica Olivia Howard, John Robert Griffin Hughes, Rebecca Grace Hunter, Juliana Sophia Ianetti, Shaquan Rashard Ivy, Hayden Estella Izzard, DeAndre Marquise Jackson, Sania Serene Jackson, Cameron Zebediah Jacobs, Mallory Rachel Jarka, Stuart Fincher Gerald, Eleanor Jane Jeffries,
Gabriel Jimenez, Archivius Deshawn Johnson, Elizabeth Ann Johnson, Charles Andrew Jonas, Henry David Jonas, Cheyenne Monique Jones, Harrison Reeves Jones, Amy Elizabeth Joseph, Sarah Yunozovich, Miles Payne Justice, Isabel Tyson Kakasik, Zoe Claire Karanaker, Maria Elizabeth Katapodis, Tanish Kaushik, John Del Juan Key, Londell Juan Key. William Daniel Keenan.
Adam Kelkay. Brenna Truitt Kelly. John Sidner Kelly. John Davis Kennerly. Daniela Kessler. Mikhail Umer Khan. Mohammed Khan. Ziara Myjoy Kilborn. Haley Rochelle Killingsworth. Michael Evan Kapinski. Dorothy Kostopoulos. Brandon Kolopdara. Caitlin Ann Kreth. Catherine Ellis Koo. Caroline Elizabeth Kuhn.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Seniors.
Read the ones in absentia. We forgot to read the ones they asked us to read all the names in absentia.
Okay, you want to do that? We're going to read a few names in absentia, if you would bear with us, please. Nope.
Congratulations to the following graduates: Angel David Elman, Evanston Ramon Alexander, Walser Haddon Allen, Miles Isaac Anikwuye, Jacob Christian Asmer, Margaret Tanner Barr, Rowan Lane Bardis, Caroline Evelyn Bedekian, Jack Ryan Berger, Abigail Louise Bowman, Aaron Jonathan Bowie, Xavier Carisoza, Caitlin Noel Dawkins,
Jashir Eliza Dixon, Samantha Carpenter Fine, Savannah Diane Fleetwood, Theodore Goodwin Grabel, Patrick Henry Green, Logan Park Hall, Benjamin Braxton Hendricks, Amelia Elizabeth Ho, Garrett Thomas James, Maya Eileen Jones, Anna Patrice Judge, George Thomas Kernodle.
Seniors, if you would please stand. By the authority vested in me by the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction and the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Board of Education, as principal of Myers Park High School, I now pronounce you graduates of Myers Park High School. You may turn your tassel to the left side. Congratulations, class of 2021.